Good evening everyone and welcome to Gundam News. And our two big headlines this time around are of course the release of Gundam Breaker 4 and the announcement of the Gunpla for January, February and March. All of which you can of course buy from Hoblink Japan, linked down below, which will also support the channel. So let's immediately have a look at those Gunpla. Although for January, there unfortunately isn't going to be a whole lot of new stuff. For 880 yen, 6 US, we have the entry grade Strike Rouge, which is a new announcement, but is almost an exact recolor of the standard entry grade Strike Gundam. The only real difference is that it now also comes with a marking sticker of Kagali's personal emblem and her number. Other included things are the beam rifle, the shield, and confirmed compatibility with the Ale Striker and the Cavalier Aifrid. And if you want, you can also equip it with the next kit they're releasing, the option part set Gunpla 14 Gunbarrel Striker. And I'd forgive you for thinking that this is just a straight up repackaging of the Gunbarrel Striker that was included with the old 105 dagger. Because that's what I thought at first as well. But after seeing the relatively insane price markup, I looked a bit harder because something just wasn't adding up. The old set, which again comes with the 105 dagger and a simple action base, only cost 1,650 yen or 11 US. But then this new Gunbarrel Striker with nothing extra, not even an action base, will set you back 1,320 yen, 9 US. So it turns out that there are in fact some differences. The cool upgrades are that the quote-unquote cockpit now has clear parts instead of stickers, and that it also comes with a connector piece to attach it to mobile suits using the standard twin peg connection for their backpack. The upgrade then is that the Gatling gun is now mounted through a removable peg, allowing it to be replaced with a handle, so you can also use it as handheld equipment. I don't think that it looks particularly great, but I'm sure someone will like it. What I then think is a straight up downgrade is how the gun barrels open up. In the old one, the top surface is smooth because they have like this little crane arm to open it up. The new one though completely ditches that arm in favor of an uglier peg and hole combo, making the whole thing look more toy-like. And on top of that, they only covered up one of the holes that the arm went into, meaning that when the gun barrels are open, there's still going to be an unused hole where that arm connected to. Again, making the whole thing feel a bit more toy-like. So it's not a huge deal in a vacuum, but when you're paying comparatively more for a worse deal, it's not all that great. So unless you really need that connector to hook it up to a standard mobile suit, or unless you're really into using the Gatling gun as a handheld weapon, you might want to try to hunt down the old 105 dagger instead. Depending on availability, of course. And what is exactly the same then is the BB Senshi Gundam 0083 Stardust memory set, which has the BB Senshi GPO1 Fulburnian, the GPO2, the Dendrobium, and the Neue Ziel for 4,510 yen, 31 US. February then is when we start to get the more exciting releases. First and foremost, the high-grade Zagok Gundam Seed Freedom version. At 3,520 yen, 24 US, it does sound quite expensive for your standard high grade, but that is because you're not just paying for one high grade. They already showed us that the bottom of the Zagok's feet had detailing showing us the Infinite Justice Spec 2's feet, but inside of the Zagok's torso, there is an actual Justice torso, albeit slightly simplified. But if you want, you can put the actual high-grade torso in there as well. And on top of that, the Zagok also comes with a damaged head part, so you can see that justice in there. So really the perfect accessory for this mobile suit. And the other accessories include beam effect parts for the X-Wing and the superheated claws. And in the same month, you can complete this bad boy by buying the Cavalier Aifrid, which is the option part set Gunpla number 15, and it goes for 2,970 yen, 21 US. So this giant option pack is actually cheaper than the mobile suit it's supposed to go onto. And it also comes with some cool accessories and gimmicks. The missile pods open up, it comes with an action base, the wings move to recreate its standby mode or flight mode, and it comes with a variety of backpack connectors, allowing it to be attached to a variety of mobile suits. With the main two intended mobile suits, of course, being the Strike Rouge and the Zagok. And it's also advertised that these adapter pieces make the Zagok Striker Pack compatible. Of course, a very important gimmick to have in the Seed universe. And on top of those accessories, we're also getting the Type 35 Prototype Advanced Railgun with adapter parts to store it on mobile suits like the Mighty Strike Freedom and the Infinite Justice Spec 2. So, on the one hand, it's cool that we're getting it with this set, but on the other hand, I feel like maybe they should have included this railgun with those model kits to begin with. Their price is kind of up there, and it is also a plot important weapon, I would say. It's not just a random secondary weapon like, for example, the Armor Schneiders with the Strike Gundam, or that one shotgun that he once stole from a Din. But next up, we have the Figurized Standard Puru 2, who goes for 4,180 yen, 29 US. She's looking good, and she comes with a variety of accessories. Being a Cyber New type, we of course get a bunch of things to mess with her head. You can choose between her normal hair, her special headgear, or her helmet, which also has a removable visor, and for expressions, we get a pre-printed, slightly grumpy face, and then a smiling and open mouth face, where you have to apply the waterside decals yourself. And in addition to those, we're also getting Neo Zeon standard sidearm, and two types of chest. The standard one, and one with an open collar. And she'll of course also pair beautifully with her massive partner releasing in March. But before I can talk more about that thing, we still have one more release for February. The BB Senshi Principality of Zeon mobile suit set, featuring the BB Senshi Zaku 2 F-Type, Char Zaku 2, Zok, Gok, and Agai for 3,520 yen, 24 US. And as with that previous BB Senshi set, this is just a straight up re-release. So, about that high-grade Psycho Gundam Mark II. It is the last main machine from Zeta Gundam that we still needed, and for 11,000 yen, 76 US, this chonker and all of its accessories can be yours. It comes with a shield, 10 smaller beam effect parts for the fingers, 2 bigger effect parts for the wrist beam sabers, 10 active and 10 deactive reflector bits, 2 wires for the arms, 1 big action base, and 4 smaller action bases, so you can display both the Mark II, its arms, and the reflector bits, and finally, also a damaged head, so we can replicate the scene where Puru 2 escapes with it. And it also looks like that damaged head is going to be its own thing completely without needing parts from the non-damaged head. So you can display the damaged head with Puru 2, and then you'll still have a full Psycho Gundam Mark II to display somewhere else. But the thing that I was expecting the least then was the Master Grade Gundam Vidar, complete with an upgraded Gundam frame that promises to have better shoulder articulation. And articulation definitely seems what this thing is going to be all about, because we also have a really cool leg gimmick with movable armor parts and thrusters when you bend the knee. But the accessories are also nothing to sneeze at. It comes with 2 pistols that now have a blowback functionality, a rifle with removable magazine, a burst saber with 8 different blades, a bunch of different hands, a sitting and standing pilot figure, an action-based connector, and marking stickers. And on top of that, you can build it with either the Alaya Vignana Type E system active or deactive, and all of this can be yours for 6,600 yen, 46 US. And to wrap things up, we got some more SD things. For 1,540 yen a pop, 11 US, there is the SDW Heroes GF Gundam Astraea Type F, which comes with a beam saber, a shield, and those ski things that the Astraea is famous for. The SDW Heroes GF Gundam Astraea Type B, which comes with the same basic accessories and body, but a different head and backpack. And finally, the SDW Heroes Captain Quanta GF, which comes with a rifle, a railgun, and a shield with some really nice beam effect parts. And by combining all 3, you will unlock some extra gimmicks. Now, they don't show those gimmicks yet, and they also didn't say what they were going to be, but based on what we can see, I feel like it's going to be something like equipping the bulky Astraea accessories to the Quanta. And then for 990 yen a piece, 7 US, there's these 6 Gunpla-Kun Keychains. There's Gunpla-Kun, Zakupla-Kun, Char Zakupla-Kun, Jinpla-Kun, New Gunpla-Kun, and Airpla-Kun. So also not exactly what I was expecting to see in Bandai's Gunpla lineup. But I guess you could also say the same thing about the other releases, because the predictions that I made last week weren't exactly spot on, let's say. We did get an unannounced Gundam Seed Freedom kit, but it wasn't the Impulse Gundam Spec 2, it was the Cavalier Aifrid, and we got a Master Grade of all things. Like, who saw that one coming? The only thing that I was right about was that we would get no new Requiem for Vengeance things or Silver Phantom things. And for Silver Phantom, that is quite a unique circumstance, because depending on how you look at it, it is kind of an anime, kinda not an anime, because like it's a VR interactive movie. But let's say that it's close enough. So, we got the confirmation that it will be releasing worldwide on October the 4th. And in the foreseeable future, there is going to be no model kit releases for this show/game. G-Savior got a model kit. Some video games got a model kit. But so far, nothing for Silver Phantom. And it's not like it doesn't have some really interesting and cool looking mobile suits. So I wonder what Bandai is going to do with the series, if anything at all. And other than those regular releases, we also got a premium Bandai release. Because of course. The Full Mechanics Boost Raider Gundam from Gundam Seed Eclipse. A very busy design that tries to incorporate the weapons of the Calamity and the Forbidden into the Raider, along with some other modifications as well. For example, the hip-mounted claws are now mounted on the arms, and on the hips, it now has the new Geschmeidig Legion. And this bundle of flying firepower can be yours in December for 6,820 yen, 47 US. My only remaining question/concern is, how does it fly? But regardless, they also announced that the rail-grade RX-78-2 Gundam version 2.0 weapon set will be available at the Gundam Base and Gundam Side F from August 31st, so something to keep in mind if you're in the neighborhood. And it wasn't just model kits that got some cool announcements this week. We also got some figure news. Somewhere in between action figures and model kits, they announced the 7th lineup of the G-Frame Full Armor series. And with the inclusion of the Mighty Strike Freedom, the lineup this time around is slightly different than usual, because normally we would get 4 different mobile suits per lineup, but now it's only 3, because for the Mighty Strike Freedom, the Proud Defender is included as its own set. So, to get the full Mighty Strike Freedom, you will need to get 3 sets instead of 2, being the armor set, which has the armor and a static frame, which can be transformed into an action base, the frame set, which has a movable frame and the twin beam rifles, and then the Proud Defender, which also comes with the anti-ship sword. And then the other 2 included mobile suits are the Humbravi, which can transform, and the Gelgoog, which can be built as either the mass production version, the commander version, or their respective high mobility versions. What I find interesting though is that it doesn't come with its standard beam rifle. It instead comes with the custom beam rifle that you might recognize from Gato's custom Gelgoog, and the bazooka that you might recognize from Johnny Ryden's Gelgoog. And this then reminded me a bit of what they did with the Master Grade Gelgoog mass production type version 1.0. Because here, they also didn't give us the standard beam rifle, but they gave us the beam machine gun of the Gelgoog Jaeger for whatever reason. Like, early Master Grades were wild. But each set goes for 748 yen, 5 US, comes with a soda-flavored piece of chewing gum, and can be yours in January. Next up then, we have a new series of figures called Lot Gundam, and I think the easiest way to describe these things is Lego minifigs, but with more articulation. Just like the G-Frame sets, they go for 748 yen each, 5 US, come with a soda-flavored piece of chewing gum, and are releasing in January. And the available figures are the RX-78-2, which comes with a shield and a beam rifle, Char's Zaku 2, which comes with a Heat Hawk and bazooka, the mass production type Zaku 2, which comes with a Heat Hawk and machine gun, Amuro Ray, who comes with a pistol, jetpack, and removable helmet, and Char, which comes with a gun and removable helmet. Each figure also comes with a base to display them while walking. The accessories are completely interchangeable, just like a Lego minifig, and they also have a hole in the back to mount things onto, like the Gundam's shield or Amuro's jetpack. And also, the Zakus do have movable mono eyes. So I wonder if this is going to be a one-off, or if we're going to see more characters from the original Gundam series, or maybe even characters from other Gundam series, because I can totally see them doing a set like this for the main cast from Gundam Seed Freedom. In October then, you'll be able to gacha the MS Mechanical Bust DX Unicorn Gundam. And the DX, or Deluxe in the name of this bad boy, means that it has to be distributed in a larger than normal gachapon ball because of its size. And because of this, it's also going to be more expensive at 800 yen a pull, 6 US. You can get the armor set for the Unicorn mode, the armor set for the Destroy mode, and the inner frame with light up unit. Meanwhile, over at Premium Bandai then, pre-orders began for the Mobile Suit Ensemble X51 Perfect Zeon, which goes for a price that literally made me physically recoil when I saw it, and I had to do a double take. 14,300 yen, which according to a straight money conversion would be 99 US, but in actuality will end up being closer to 150 US. All of that for a figure that is 14 centimeters tall, or 5.5 inches. And for a more visual comparison, that is the size of our immortal Justice Gundam here up to the antenna. So compare this to, for example, the Psycho Gundam Mark II that we just talked about, which would be something like, I don't know, this big or something, and is cheaper. So what are you getting for that eye-watering price? Well, it comes with a main action base, 4 smaller action bases, 8 wires and 2 thruster effect parts for the arms, 2 pair of hands, a sword, the ability to display the thighs and the upper arms with or without the armor, and parts to display it as the incomplete Zeong. Because obviously the first thing you're going to do after dumping a lot of money on this thing is downgrade it. And if you still have some money left, well, they also announced the next X figure, which will be the perfect Gundam. So start saving up if you want to have the perfect couple. And if all of this made you hungry, then in December you can get some Gunpla package art gummies. Each package goes for 165 yen, a little over $1 US, and includes one of 8 Gunpla Runner gummies, which are orange flavored, and one of 33 cards featuring Gunpla box art. Next up then, we have some unexpected Gundam Seed Freedom news. From September the 20th, a special edition of the movie will be screened in Japan and will include an extra epilogue scene and over 500 updated scenes in the main movie. So due to time constraints, some scenes weren't completely finished or like completely done as the people working on it wanted, but now that they had the time and definitely the funds to fix those flaws, let's call them, they remade it exactly as they wanted. Based on the trailer, it seems like most of the edits will be smaller things like shading and extra details, but I wonder if this means that we'll also get some more mobile suit cameos, because the lack of Dagger else was striking, and I also know that a lot of people were disappointed that there wasn't a single Stargazer reference in there. And for example, the Strike E was a mass production mobile suit. Limited mass production, but mass production nonetheless, so it would make sense for one to show up somewhere. But while I am definitely happy to see the movie receiving an update, it also makes me wonder like what they're going to do with streaming, and I also wonder how the people who spent a lot of money on the Blu-ray of the original are now going to feel knowing that what they're getting is already basically outdated. But people who go to watch it in the cinemas will also get this clear file that says Gundam Seed Freedom Revival. And alongside it, they also announced the second Gundam Seed Freedom collaboration with Prime Maniacs, a perfume brand that is all about making perfumes based on famous anime characters. So for 7,920 yen a bottle, or 55 US, you can make yourself, or something else, smell like Murrue Romius, Mulaflaga, or Dearka Elsman. You can get them on the online Prime Maniac store, or from one of their physical stores starting October the 24th. On the gaming front then, like I said in the beginning, the biggest news is of course the release of the long-awaited Gundam Breaker 4. If you want the long story on whether or not to buy it, you can check out my full review on the thing, which I will have linked on screen and down below. But if you want a quick, short version, well then Gundam Breaker 4 knows exactly what to offer Gunpla fans. It is a powerful Gunpla customization tool with new features including the ability to scale parts, equip 2 different arms, dual wield, and a diorama mode to show off your amazing creations. And this is then combined with fun gameplay, but also a story that is nothing to write home about. At least the new characters are fun though, and there are some returning fan favorite characters. All in all, Gundam Breaker 4 is packed with a lot of content that will keep you busy for quite a while. And Gundam Breaker and Gundam Battle Operation 2 is celebrating the launch of Gundam Breaker 4 with a free digital t-shirt featuring the logo of the game. but only on the PlayStation version, not on the Steam version. For the new mobile suits then, it is the Overon on Steam and the Hazel Icarus on the PlayStation. And if you want to let the devs know how you feel about the game, that is Gundam Battle Operation 2, not Gundam Breaker 4, until September the 1st, you can fill out their user survey, which I will have linked down below. In UC Engage then, the UR Char Aznavour and UR Sazabi, the life-sized new Gundam statue version, have become available as super limited unit assemblies, and the Heavy Arms Kai has returned to the battlefield in Gundam Extreme vs. 2 Overboost. Unfortunately then, there's also some less good news. A while back, I reported on Bandai Namco Online being in dire straits, and it went from bad to worse. So, as a quick reminder, Bandai Namco Online was responsible for Gundam Evolution, as well as some other Japan-only Gundam games and Blue Protocol. But after the failure of Gundam Evolution, they declared bankruptcy, casting a big shadow over not just the company itself, but the other games they still had active. And this week, they came out and announced that the Japanese servers of Blue Protocol will be shutting down on January 18th, and that the planned Western release will never happen. So things also aren't looking good for those Gundam games they still have active. In other better news then, the Blu-ray and DVD box of the last mass production type Riko series will be releasing on December 6th, which from Mercury will be appearing at the MBS Anime Fes 2025. 2 Gundam Manholes will be installed in Minami Uonuma in Niigata, one of which has the RX-78 on it and the other the Gyan. And we got pictures of the Gundam and Coin Parking Delivery collaboration sculpture. It's like an evil Smurf wearing a Gundam helmet. As for the things you could get this week then. First up, on the 24th, the high-grade Draken E went up for sale at Gundam bases across Japan. It goes for 2,420 yen, 17 US, and will allow you to recreate either the Riot Defense Forces version with the standard arms or the Zeon version with crane arms and different lights. And if you then need some more energy to build your Gunpla or to play your Gundam games, then from the 27th, Gundam Extreme vs. 2 Overboost started a collaboration with Samurai Energy, which is an energy drink that I had never heard about before this collaboration, so mission complete, at least for me. They are releasing 2 limited edition cans, and by scanning the QR code on the bottom, you can win some prizes, provided that you're living in Japan, of course. 3 real great Strike Freedom Gundams, 200 acrylic plates, 300 acrylic stands, and a phone wallpaper as consolation prize. For this week's reading material then, there was the October issue of Model Graphics, featuring the high-grade Lafrith pre-production model, the high-grade Destroy Gundam, and 2001 A Space Odyssey. Then there was the October issue of Hobby Japan, featuring the real great RX-78-2 version 2.0, the September issue of Grand Jump Mucha, in which Gundam Rust Horizon is being serialized, the Big Comic Superior, in which Gundam Thunderbolt is being serialized, Gundam Ace, in which a bunch of Gundam manga are being serialized, and the 8th and final tankobon volume of Haigredo ni Koisuru Futari was released, ending the very nice and heartwarming series. But what isn't ending is the endless onslaught of Gundam apparel through Strict G and Bankore. Tips on how to purchase them down below. And Strict G kicked things off on the 21st with a collaboration with Sanui Textile. For 2,970 yen a pop, 21 US, they are releasing these coin purses featuring a face mask designed after the RX-78-2, Standard Zaku 2, Char, Haro, Suleta, or Miorine. And on the 28th, pre-orders went live for their collaboration with Lee, the American jeans brand. So for 14,850 yen, 103 US, you can get a pair of jeans with either Federation and Amro markings or Zeon markings. And if you pre-order them online, they'll be shipping out in September. But if you go to a physical Strict G store, you can get them on the 31st. From Bankore, meanwhile, 4,620 yen, 32 US, gets you a bath towel featuring the title of one of 6 episodes of the original Gundam series. 1,320 yen, 9 US, gets you a standard acrylic stand of Hathaway, Gigi, or Kenneth. And 2,750 yen, 19 US, gets you a big acrylic stand of Hathaway, Gigi, or Kenneth. And as always, let's quickly wrap things up with the polls. A few weeks ago, Gundam.info wanted to know which RX-78-2 Gunpla was the most shocking Gunpla at the time of its release. The Perfect Grade Unleashed, the Master Grade 1.0, the Entry Grade, or the Real Grade 1.0. And the results were extremely close together. The Perfect Grade Unleashed was first with 29.9%, followed by the Master Grade with 25.7%, the Entry Grade with 23.5%, and the Real Grade with 20.9%. And in a way, I'm not surprised that they're all so close together, because there really is an argument to be made as to why each one of the 4 was the most shocking kit in its own way. Because as the first Gundam, and still one of the most popular Gundams, and definitely the most iconic Gundam, the RX-78-2 is often the machine that is chosen as like the first kit of a new line, or the first kit to get some special new feature included. Sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse, because, you know, being first means that there might still be some kinks that have to be worked out, which is why sometimes it definitely pays to not be first, and I'm looking at the Real Great line here in particular. But that has been all for this week's Gundam news. As always, a big thank you to the Patreon supporters. I hope everyone watching has a great evening, and I'll see you all next week with more Gundam news.